It ruined all the food in my fridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now that's not awesome.
It happens. So
how much food was in your fridge?
Not very much, but it's a small fridge. So.
Okay. Well, that's still sad.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so. Just lunch food. Okay, please make sure that you fill in your. Yes. Please make sure that you fill in your heading. Okay, today is the 17th. And this is A3. Okay? What's up?
Can it hear us?
Yeah. It can mostly hear me.
That wasn't even a whisper.
Because it's just the mic on my computer. Okay.
Hey, Ivan.
But it is going to hear you creepily asking, can it hear us? So, that's fine. Okay. Perfect squares. Okay, the square of an integer is called a perfect square. Okay. So generate the first 10 perfect squares below. So the perfect square of 1 is what? What's 1 squared? 1. What about 2 squared? Fill in the rest of them. Because 1 times 1 is 1.
You can't even look. It's 3 times it by itself. Yeah, you do it by itself. So 3 times 3. No, it's not times 2 this time. You do number. It's times. It's 2.
Okay, so 3 squared is what? 9. 4 squared? 5. 6.
36.
49.
49. 64.
64. 81.
100.
And 100.
I got it right.
What's up?
What's a number with the exponent of 1? Because that was on the notes yesterday and we didn't do it.
Oh, boom. I don't know what you said.
From yesterday?
Yeah, I mean 2 days ago.
You mean an exponent of 0?
No, it was 1. It was like one of those that we crossed out and didn't do.
I got you. So are you saying the number 2 to the power of 1?
Yeah.
So you're just multiplying 2 by itself 1 time, so it's just 2. Okay? So anything to the first degree or to the first power, okay, is just itself, okay, is the base. Okay? It's a good question. Okay, so let's look at square roots. Okay, so we just talked about perfect squares. So similar to how you guys know, for the most part, you're able to do some mental math to get through your multiplication tables. Okay, 1 times whatever through 9. Okay, is kind of the general table that everybody can do. Okay, perfect squares are going to be things that you want to start to try and register mentally. Okay, know that the 36 is a perfect square, 64 is a perfect square. Okay, that kind of stuff. Sophia. Yeah, you can. Okay, so the opposite of squaring a number is finding the what? Square root. Okay, positive numbers have how many square roots?
I
said
said
it.
that.
Levi knew.
No, you did not.
Why?
Because that's just how it do.
Because that's just how math is. Okay, so what numbers can you say can you square to get to 16? 4, and what else? So if you square 2, what are you going to get?
4.
Okay, so that give you 16? Okay, so don't say answers that don't make sense.
1 or 16.
It's not one.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay. 4 or
Okay.
-4. I wasn't trying to trick you. I wasn't a joke. I don't joke about math.
No.
Hey, easy. Easy. Okay. Negative numbers have how many square roots?
2.
Levi's on a roll.
Wait. Negative numbers have how many?
What?
Negative numbers have 0 square roots. Okay? That is because
Oh, because they don't. Because they're
Nice.
I can look.
we are only working in the real numbers plane in pre-algebra for the most part. Okay? Taking the square root of a negative number is going to give you an imaginary number, which is stuff that you will talk about later on. Okay? So the square root of -9 is not going to give you 3. It would give you 3i.
3 why? Why?
No, I.
No, yeah, but why?
I.
So.
Why is it not?
Because we are working in the x values.
Messed it up. It's glitching. You messed it up.
We're being so needy. There we go. Okay. Because we are working in the real numbers realm, okay, which are typically going to be in the x values, okay, axis, okay. The square root of a negative number is going to end up in the y plane. So, but we're not dealing with that. Okay, so don't worry about it. What number has only 1 square root?
What?
One.
What? Sin.
Negative and a positive. I don't know.
Levi, what's the answer? Come on now.
Negative and a positive. So 1, 0. I said 0. Wait, but what about 1?
No.
1 has multiple.
It does?
Yep. Because what is the square root of 1?
1.
It is 1 or -1.
Oh. Okay.
Bro, that's.
Okay.
0 is 0. It says it can't be negative or positive.
Exactly. Exactly. Can you what?
I've already touched it. Like, can I touch your calculator?
Sure. This
I've already
is
touched it.
interesting question. I don't think I've ever had anyone ask me if they can touch this calculator. Like use the calculator is what I assume. Like you just want to touch it, you don't want to actually use it. Okay. I'm glad this is all on my notes recording. Okay, the radical sign, square root of x, is used to indicate the square root of x. Okay, so the square root of x is used to indicate the which version square root of x? Positive.
Oh, I said that.
I said that.
Okay, which means
Negative.
a negative on the outside is going to give you the negative.
Only one said it too. You're so smart.
Okay. So here is how I want you to go through this, okay? For all of you that want to touch a calculator, okay? I am okay with you using one, but, and this is totally on you, okay? There's nothing I can do to control the order that you do this. It will be better for you in the long run if you will try to do it without the calculator first then use the calculator to check yourself. Okay? Would anybody like to see how you use the calculator to do this?
Yes.
Is it the same as last time?
Show us how to do that problem.
No, because we're using square roots now.
Which one? Which one is this? Okay, so you can second.
Hey, Mr. Bennett, can I touch this calculator?
Yes.
The only real
Did you get my funny joke?
I did. Okay. So again, my calculator looks different than yours. Okay. But here's the process you need to go through. Okay. So let's say you are using, what was the first question? 49. The square root of 49. Okay. You need to hit second. Okay. And then you're going to hit the x squared button, which has a little green radical right above it. Okay. It's on the left-hand side of your calculator. Okay. It'll populate the radical. Yeah. With the cursor blinking inside. Okay. Then you just punch in 49 and hit enter. And it'll give it to you. Okay. Now, can we take the square root of a negative number? No, we've just talked about that. So,
Sorry, I was just doing my.
it's okay. So, here's what happens if you punch in a negative 49. What's it going to give me? What sort of error?
Syntax.
No, actually.
The other one,
A-
error, normal,
Non-real.
Non-real answer. What did I say you get? You get an imaginary number. Okay?
Yeah, so what would the imaginary number be?
7i.
Oh, why? So why doesn't it say 7?
Stands for imaginary.
Oh.
Technically it stands for an irrational number. Yep. So in math, we work with imaginary numbers now. Okay. So go through 1, 2, and 3. See if you can figure out those answers. I'll give you 30 seconds. Okay. What do we get for number 1? 7. What do we get for number 2?
3.
What about for number 3?
-2.
-2.
Let's go.
Okay. So that's a good question, Sophia, and I had the same question in the first class. Where is that negative located in relation to the radical? You can't eat. You can't eat in here anymore. I already talked about it.
You put the negative with the thing on it, and then you do the thing.
If the negative, okay, so if it was written like this, okay, do we see the difference?
Yeah.
Okay, negatives on the outside right here, negatives on the inside right here. Outside good, inside bad. Okay, let's do number 4.
-9, 8.
Actually, -17.
Wait, which one? Oh, -17.
Okay, what about number 5?
-14. 22. No, it's just normal
22. It's 22.
Oh, how's that feel?
Why are you looking through
Okay, number 7.
What?
So now we're working with a fraction. Okay, so no, I don't want you to punch this into the calculator. I want you to just look at it, and you can do this in your head. Okay, so I'm about to show you how. Okay, this, the square root of 1 over 16, is the same as if you wrote it like this. Okay, what's the square root of 1? What's the square root of 16? 4.
Whoa.
Good job, Levi.
Good job, Levi.
Okay? You can do the same thing with 8.
Can we put it in the calculator and it will work?
No.
What?
What?
No. Could I put it
No.
in the Could I put it into my brain?
Yeah.
Could I put it into the calculator?
No.
And would it pop up with the right? I'm just gonna check. Oh. Yep, that were originally in my head and not anywhere else. What over 2? Yeah.
I don't think we should.
I'm just gonna copy. Let's roll.
Where are you looking?
Hey.
Yeah.
Negative 1.
Mm-hmm.
Negative. Oh, never mind.
You're good. You just got to tag it back on at the end. Okay. Any questions on 1 through 9?
Yes. No.
Okay, if you're still struggling with any of this or the calculator, just make a note of it and ask me once we get done. Okay, if you don't want to ask me right now.
I'm using the calculator for the bottom 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we can check our answers.
Yeah.
That way we
Likely
can
story.
had it in
Okay.
our head.
So you still do. Okay, second and then the radical. Okay. Now this is, for the calculators that y'all have. So because I can't do this online the same way.
You
So,
paid $100 to not be able to do it?
what's that?
You paid $100 to not be able to do it?
No, I can do it. It looks totally different on mine, so it won't really help you guys out.
Exactly.
So the way that I would do it for you, okay, and it's probably just going to end up giving you a decimal though, is you would punch in second and then the square root sign, okay, and then so like if we're looking at number 7, I'd hit 1. And then I'd hit that N over D button. It's like third row down. And then you can punch in 16 on the bottom. And then you just hit enter. Now mine is in math print mode. Okay, so if you want to know what the fraction looks like, just go to mode on your calculator. Scroll down to classic math print and highlight math print. And it'll give you the fraction. Okay? Yeah. Which part, Sophia? Yeah, here, come here. Come here real quick. Okay, so we go second. And then right there. And then I'm just going to do 1 over 16. I'm going to go 1. And then I'm going to hit this button right here. Gives me that fraction. It should be fine. I don't know why. We probably just have. Oh, I don't know why. Close the parentheses. And if it would have given you a decimal, go mode. Oh. I don't know what's wrong with your calculator.
I didn't get to
Go read.
Okay, there we go. I don't know. So I guess the math print part was why it was being weird. So there you go. Okay. Good work. Thanks, man. Okay. We good on this so far? Okay. Perfect versus non-perfect. Okay. Now I would like for you to my screen's frozen. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So now if you will look at the perfect versus non-perfect squares. Don't forget that you're still auditioning to not have seating chart. Okay, circle each value that is a perfect square. 9, 32, 50, 121, 1, 160, 64, 200, and 324. Circle all of the perfect squares. There will be 5 of them. 5 perfect squares.
Oh no.
Oh, no, it's not. It's 32, isn't right? Just making sure.
Okay, you can look up here and check whenever you're ready.
Okay, did I do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Circle one. Circle one, Dolph.
Where's one?
Bro, one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it right.
Easy.
Yes, sir. I got that right.
Okay, please flip over to the back.
Yay. Have it done.
Yep, you'll have plenty of time.
Now we get like 5. No, wait.
Okay,
That was so close.
stay with me, please. Identify the 2 consecutive integers in which each square root lies between. Okay, so let me talk to you about what this is going to look like. On number 10, okay, first, yes or no question. Is the square root of 10 a perfect square? You don't have to show your shoulders. I gave you the list of perfect squares on the first page.
No.
Okay, if you're looking over to the front page, you have to know where you're looking at. At the very top, where it says perfect squares, I gave you a list of the first 10 perfect squares we have.
10 is a perfect
Okay.
square.
10 is not a perfect square.
It is not a perfect square.
Any number can create a perfect square if you multiply it by itself. Okay, but I'm asking if we take the square root of 10, does it come out to a whole number? No, it won't. Okay, but we can determine which 2 whole numbers the square root will kind of lie in between. Okay, so what perfect square is close to the square root of 10?
3 and 4.
Yeah, totally.
No, you're right. You're right. So she's like, I know. The square root of 9, okay, and the square root of 16. They are kind of the 2 that are on either side. What is the square root of 9, Ava?
It's 3.
It is 3, okay? And the square root of 16? 4. So 3 and 4 are going to be your answers for number 10.
No. I'm confused.
So what we're looking for is so like if you take your calculator and you punch in the square root of 10.
Yeah, how do you get 9?
Listen to me, please. Okay, so if you plug in the square root of 10, I can't get my stupid calculator out of.
It just says that it's 10. It's 10.
There we go. So you've got to get it you've got to change your mode to get it out of the fraction. Okay, if you punch in the square root of 10, it'll give you 3.16227766. That's the actual. So you got to go to mode, and then just make sure the entire left side is highlighted. So degree, I would assume that's for normal, floating, and classic.
How do you highlight classic?
You just scroll down to it and click on it, like hit enter.
And then how do we go back?
Second and mode. Okay? So once you type in the square root of 10, that'll give you 3.1 whatever. So the 2 whole numbers that were in between are 3 and 4. Okay? So like if we do the same thing with number 11, what 2 whole numbers are we between? So if you type in the square root,
It puts it in a little box. You know, like it does that around it. When
Parentheses?
it's classic. Yeah. Man, I was
It's
crazy.
10 and then something else.
it is 10 and something else.
It's 10 and 11.
Yes, because we're looking for 2 consecutive integers.
Can I draw
So
something
it's
on
just
the
the number
end?
that you get on the calculator and then the next one over.
So it can have that little curve.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mine is not
Okay.
that. Mine says 3.
Emily, you good? Lies. Okay. Number 12.
7 and 8.
Are we confused, guys?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Let's all get together for a second. Sophia.
Okay, so basically, whenever you just do it, like everything to it down, and blah, blah, blah.
Hold on just a second, Sophia. Guys, if we could all just come back together so that we can clarify. Okay. I don't want anybody to miss any pieces of information. Sophia, go ahead.
So if you're number 12,
Yeah.
and you got, second answer, like you got 10 for 11,
Okay.
would it just be the next number over that would be your second one?
On either side, yes. So like if you picked 10, like it could be 9 or it could be 11. We have to make sure we know which side. But yes, because we're picking two consecutive integers.
Okay, so like.
So let's look at number 12. Okay. Now the easy way to do this is just punch it in the calculator. Okay. But if we're looking at it, okay, what are two perfect squares that are close to 59? 64,
49.
64 and 49.
Let's go.
Right? Okay, what's the square root of 49?
7.
7. What's the square root of 64?
8.
Oh, okay, I understand that. I was like,
Mm-hmm. And if you just punched the square root of 59 into your calculator, it's going to give you a decimal number of what? Did anybody do it?
7.6.
Yeah. Which, does that fall in between 7 and 8? Yeah.
Wait, can you show me punching the calculator again?
Yes. Okay. So, one more time. Okay. For everybody, just in case you need a little bit more clarification. Okay. You hit second. Okay. The big green button. Then you hit, so if you look at the on-off button, it's 3 buttons above it. It's the X squared button. It's got a little green radical above it. Okay. You with me there? Okay. Then you can punch in your number. So we can punch in 59 for this one. Then you just hit enter. It should give you 7.6. Is any okay? So what you want to do is go mode. Okay. Make sure that the whole left, like the left column, is all highlighted. So if you've got any highlighted that are kind of like your bottom one right there, Rodney. So you've got math print highlighted. Make sure you have classic highlighted. So you highlight it and then press enter. Press enter to select it. Okay, then hit second mode again to get out of it. Okay, now it should give you the decimal. Okay? Okay. Get those calculator questions asked, okay? Because the calculator can be really useful, but you got to know what direction to go. What's up, Sophia?
Because that's just how I do.
So I'm just picking the two perfect squares that are close to 10. So I know that 3 times 3 is 9. I know that 4 times 4 is 16.
wait, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
Correct. Yep. Okay, so I would like for you to try 13, 14, and 15 on your own. Okay? Don't let the negatives trip you out. Just forget them, and then just make sure you tack them onto your answers at the end. Okay?
Okay, so don't do it when we're doing all of the. Oh, yeah, I remember. Okay, so 41. 41. And 36. Sex?
Stop.
I said sex?
Let's not, since I'm recording these notes. Thank you.
Oh, no, she said that I said something.
I heard. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's because I said 36. Not...
It's for CD.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, what did we say about using those types of words as insults, Bella?
Yeah, what's wrong with these?
Nothing is the answer.
What's the answer?
Okay, please raise your hand. Who would like to give me the answer for 13? Sophia.
-5, -6. Well, -6, but like maybe -7.
Yeah, that's what I got.
So we got to pick which
Yeah,
one.
I got
So-
-7.
so- We want to shift over one, right? So -6, and then
-7.
-7.
Let's go. I'm so
I got 14.
Let's go.
Okay.
I got 14.
Sophia, do you see why?
Wait, hold on. Wait, give me.
Okay.
Pause.
Hold on, Rodney. You want to do 14, Rodney?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
I want to do 14. Because that makes you feel.
I got 2. Okay, so we're gonna go.
Stop being rude.
Hold on. We're hold on. Yeah, I got 6.4, and I thought that if it was lower than 5, you picked up the last one.
So if you got -6.4, then 6 is going to be that first number. And then you got to think of your number line. Which two whole numbers is 6.4 in between? So it's in between -6 and -7. Okay. And if you pick -5, 41 won't be in between 25 and 36. Rodney, do 14. -1 and -2. Solid. Ava, do 15.
Me do 15?
Yep.
-14, -15.
-14 and -15. Good. Okay. So now, these next three, you need to give me the approximation. We're going to round to what place? The nearest tenth. Okay? So now you're doing the exact same thing, but round it instead of telling me the two integers that it's in between.
80.
What?
Like, do you round 81 to 80 and then do it? Or
84 to 80. Yeah. And then do it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, you're going to do the square root of 84, then round that number.
No, that makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the square root of 84? 9.16. So to the nearest tenth
65151.
would be 9.2.
1, 2,
2.
9.2.
Okay.
yeah, where are those things?
What does that mean?
Approximation.
Yes. It is a squiggly equal sign. So it just means approximately.
It's kind of.
It's showing that we estimated. Okay. So number 17.
5.919. 5.19.
Yeah.
Right?
That one.
5.19. It's 5.19. And then 5.2. I'm so smart. I was right. It's good.
Positive or negative?
It's negative.
Negative. Did you ask a question, Rodney?
Actually, I think I got it first.
Actually, I think I got it.
How what? These down here? Just punch these into your calculator. And now we're just rounding that decimal number.
No, it's not.
Just rounding to the 10th place.
Actually, it's 1.
Okay?
How's that work?
So on number 18, guys.
Look at it. Look at it.
It's
12.0.
12.1 because 12.0 that's not even
14.
It's 12.1. 12. It's
Point
just 12. It's just
1.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
go.
told you, Ava.
So it's just
Tell
12.
you.
So it's just 12.
That's not.
We're rounding to the 10th place, though. So if we round it, so hey, this is just a good specificity question. So you're saying it's just 12.
Yes.
But if I just put 12 on there, I'm not showing that I rounded to the 10th place. I'm showing that I rounded to the ones place. Okay? So you've got to put 0.0, okay, because you're showing that you rounded to the 10th place. Okay?
But it is technically just
It is technically as a value just 12. Yes. Okay? Again, guys, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, just ask me when we get done. We're almost done. Okay.
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Did you get confused? Does that happen a lot, Rodney?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Perfect cubes. What's up?
Bro,
To-
it's so confusing. What's the deal?
The rest of the notes?
I don't understand.
Yes.
What?
Mhm.
They are?
Mhm.
That's good.
Oh,
I mean, I'm giving you the answers
that's
anyway.
good to know, yeah. What is it today?
So, perfect cubes. The cube of an integer is called a perfect cube. So, generate the first 10 perfect cubes. Yes. What's 1 cube?
1,
2 cubed.
8,
3 cubed.
27, 64, 125,
125.
216,
216.
343,
343.
512,
512.
729,
729.
1000.
1000.
Good.
I don't get it.
So now we're not working with exponents of 2. We're working with exponents of 3. So now, like if I'm looking at this 3 cubed right here, I'm doing 3 times 3, which is what? 9 times 3 is 27. So you got to do it 3 times now instead of just twice. Okay? So 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
What? He said, oh my God. 4? Wait, what is times? What is the 4?
4 times 4
216.
is 16, and then you got to do times 4 again. So 16 times 4 is 64.
It is. Yeah, I knew that.
6 is
I'm terrified.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, the opposite of cubing a number is finding the cubed root. Okay, all integers have only how many cube root?
1.
1. Okay, why?
I don't know.
So much attitude. Because now we're not doing it twice. Okay, so our negative rules when we're multiplying stuff, that's what's determining this. How many roots does this have? Okay, so if I am taking the cube root of 8, what is that? It's 2. Stick with me for a little bit, guys. Okay, give me effort. I know how to do these already. Okay, the cube root of 8 is what? Yeah, we just talked about it up here, right? Is 2. Okay, now when we were doing square roots, okay, the square root of 4 was 2 different answers. It could be 2, or it could be negative 2, and that's because when we multiply negative numbers together, a negative times a negative equals a positive. But if you do a negative times a negative, and that's a positive, but you have to times it by one more negative number because now we're doing it 3 times, it's going to end up being positive or negative? Negative. Okay. So what numbers can you cube to get negative 8? Negative 2.
No, a while back I was like, well, this time we can only do negative.
Okay.
And
Now-
and he was like, wait, let me talk. And then I shut up.
It's a true story. Okay,
Oh
so
my gosh, thank you.
the radical sign, cube root of x, is used to indicate the cube root of x, obviously. So find each cube root. Let me show you how to do the cube root in your calculator. Because you can. Okay, so you are going to hit, I need everyone to have a calculator in their hands so that we can do this together, okay? Since I can't show you up here, okay? We're going to do the first one. So that's the cube root of 64, okay? So you're going to hit 3.
What? Wait, what?
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm not sure why we had questions so far because I said just hit 3, okay? Hit the number 3, okay? You're going to hit second. You're going to hit the button above where we just were, Okay, so not the x squared button, but that little caret, okay, or the rooftop. It's got the x.
It doesn't look
Okay. So you're the green x radical above it. Okay, if you hit that, it's going to make your 3 kind of small, and it's going to give you the radical. Then you did it wrong if it doesn't.
it doesn't, but it gives you the right answer.
Then it did make your 3 smaller. You just weren't paying attention.
My 3's thick as hell. Stop.
I'm excited to try and buff that one out of my notes as well. Okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Then you hit 64, then hit enter, and it should give you the answer, which is 4. Okay. Okay, go ahead and do 19 through 24 on your own.
Mr. Bennett, I'm really sorry. I'll edit that if you want. I know basic editing software. I can edit that. I'll just cut out me being like, man,
You're
it's
still talking.
man, it's and then you're adding more. Stop.
Seen Monsters Inc?
Yes.
Or the 2 monsters are like, shut up, you're making it worse. That's what's going on right now.
Sorry. That's funny. Done.
Okay, guys. We need to talk about something. No, you know what? Let me finish these so this isn't on my notes, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Number 20.
It's
7. 21, negative 3. 22,
-1.
negative 1. 23,
-13.
negative 13. Or 24.
-8. I mean 8.
Okay. Please make sure that you do the summary. Okay. Again, just 1 to 3 sentences. Okay, is all it needs to be.